who are in support of the motion say aye, and those who are against the motion say nay. The ayes have it.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Well, it's been much of the same as the previous week, as ministries, departments and agencies were at the National Assembly to present the performances of their 2024 budgets and to defend their 2025 budget proposals. Let's get some highlights of some of these government agencies that appeared before the various standing committees of the 10th Senate.
Yesterday, we were here with the various heads of agencies under this ministry. The Ministry of State Development that we are supervising. And having done with them, today, the minister and his own team are before us. He came last time. We raised certain issues. We're expecting answers to the issues, and we believe that the answers will be made available. And that's just that. When you are localizing or citing the scrap collection centers, consider somehow places that are a bit central, you understand? So that if it's central in sort of in that geopolitical zone, it will be the proximity to all the states will be there. Because, for example, I can see it's not issue of the state location. I can see the issue of Abuja here or southeast.
Yes.
When it's almost by the side, you understand? And we know a place that is more central. So from Onisha, from Enugu, from Aba, it gets in there. Are you getting my point? So that is just that. So because Abia is not to south, the south-south.
What parameters were considered before you identified the situation locations for the scrap collection zone?
Yeah.
Because for me, the North Central, I have a concern. I'm wondering why Kogi State is not the state of choice for the North Central, considering the fact that all of the scraps will be collated for melting in Kogi State, probably Ajakuta local government, so that it can feed Ajakuta steel plant. I believe that is the rationale behind all of this. So Ajakuta steel plant can have some materials to start production before the iron ores still come in place. I thought that was the rationale. So if that is it, then there is no reason why the North Central collection point should be Kogi State, especially Ajakuta local government. That was what I was thinking. So please, I would like to know what the rationale, maybe for each location,
correct,
you had a rationale behind domiciling them in the states that you chose. Thank you.
A place like Lagos generates the largest chunk of scraps in the southwest. So we should be placed in Lagos. We have a Ikorodu axis that can provide that, and that serves Ogun, Oyo, and this. So, Mr. Chair, I'm pushing for Lagos to be considered in the southwest for the...
Your feedback is well noted. However, what we did to arrive at this, we had spoken to some experts within the ministry and some consultants that we speak to, that we talk to. And three things were primarily considered to arrive at these locations for the scrap metals. Although, like you said, it's not cast in stone, but three things were considered. One is the proximity to industry, two is availability of scraps, and three is the corridor of passage. The reason why we felt, for example, in the North Central, in response to distinguished Senator Natasha's question, was that Ajakuta already being a plant that sits on a very large landmass already has some existing scrap on it anyway, will get more value if it's the scrap center is still located in the north central, close by, in a nearby state that has proximity to all of this availability of scraps, and then it can now be moved to Ajokuta. That was the rationale. The same thing with Southeast Abia State, for example, where, you know, it being in Aba, a lot of scrap metals there. There's a major steel industry there where we have access to all of these scrap metals. And, you know, Niger State, the same thing with Zuba, where there's concentration of scraps there. So those were the things that we did. But, you know, like I mentioned, it's not cast in stone. No formula is completely perfect. Maybe there may be one or two changes, but I think it will serve the purpose of Ajokuta and Niomco better if we're able to spread the tentacles of where we can get scrap from. That's the principle at which we arrived at that.
When we sat down with the Ajakuta sole administrator and when he was presenting his budget, there was similar project he was running concurrently at the Ajakuta steel plant. We asked him questions about it, and then it seems to be the same explanation the ministry is giving about that. So how can you synergize? Honourable Minister, can I have your attention? So how can we synergize these two projects, please? That's my question.
The projects, this project that we're referring to here has a total value in Annexure 2 of 200 million, broken down into 150 million for Ajokuta and 50 million for Niomco. And basically, it's 2024, you know, capital budget expenditure. Now, this is being done in conjunction and in synergy with the agency. It's being done in conjunction with the agency. It's not being done separately. So there is no, you know, for using the same details in terms of the amounts and the value. There's no, you know, exactly the same project that is sitting on their books, as far as I'm aware. And if there's anything like that, it would be immediately reconciled.
Which month? Can you tell us the month that the MOU on Ajakuta was entered?
September.
And we are now approaching the end of January. When will the technical audit start? When will it start? Because to me, I believe we should tackle that project wholesomely.
Yeah.
We need to start with the technical audit so that the build-up of repairs will commence immediately.
Absolutely.
Because if you begin to, except you're letting us know that Ajakuta has been unbundled, or you want to start attending to like maybe the water project, the Bergamo plant and all of that, why don't we start with the technical audit quickly so that we will know the faults, we will know the areas that will be rehabilitated, we'll know the areas that will be upgraded. Why don't we start with that? Can you tell us when we would expect the Russians with their partners to commence the technical audit? Because time is going.
Yes, absolutely.
Immediately after the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding, the ministry commenced the procurement process for the technical and financial audit. And procurement process is a process. Advertisements were made, time was given. The stage we are now is preparation to present it to Federal Executive Council for approval. And once that presentation is made and the Federal Executive Council approves that project, then commencement will start.
The Federal Executive Council sits every week. Are you guaranteeing Nigerians that at the next Federal Executive Council, the technical audit proposal will be approved?
What I would say at this point is, as soon as we get the no objection to proceed to Federal Executive Council by the Bureau of Public Procurement, we will take the memo to the Federal Executive Council. We will get, and that will be
based on the availability of slot for the presentation of memos at FEC. I do not run the Secretariat of FEC, the Executive Council.
Thank you very much, PAMSEC. So when are we expecting the no objection from BPP?
I believe that question will be the DG BPP or the Bureau of Public Procurement is in the best position to answer the question. I do not run the office.
How long have you been expecting that no objection from BPP? I need to know the timeline. How long has it been? Did you just submit the proposal last week or last month or 2 months ago? We need to know. Maybe it's BPP we are going to hold responsible for delay of process.
I'm not familiar with the processes of the Bureau of Public Procurement. We submitted our request for no objection in about 2 months ago.
Does it mean that when you make a request, you don't follow it up?
I think the feedback from the committee, from the joint committee, is loud and clear. The speed at which we are going through the process of getting a no objection from BPP is too slow. And I think that that is the message that I'm hearing from the committee members. And the feedback has been heard very loud and clear. I can assure you that I'll continue to put the permanent secretary under a lot of pressure for us to get out the no objection. Perhaps the methods and the way we've been following up is inadequate. We're going to put more gas to the pedal to ensure that the no objection comes out, because it's very, very important to Nigerians for the technical audit to start, particularly with the original builders and their Nigerian representatives. So we have a lot more work to do in that regard. So I want to appeal to your further patience. In the next few days, I can assure you that we're going to ramp up efforts to at least get out the no objection. Today is 22nd. I believe before the end of the month. I don't see why.
PAMSEC, please let us get the commitment from the Honorable Minister.
Yeah.
Don't tell him, don't try to use civil service games with us.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
Yeah.
So, Honorable Minister, you said
Yes.
you are promising Nigerians by the end of January 2025.
Yes, I'll ramp up the pressure. I'll do everything humanly possible to ensure that it comes out. And I think that the quicker it comes out, the better it is for Nigerians, so that we can get these things going.
You have to put a strategic working plan. Liaise with your committee. They will empower you. Anything you want in the world, you will have it in Nigeria Assembly. By me here, we have professors, we have doctors, we have easy. As I'm talking to you, I have factories running currently. Coincidentally, I become politician. I become politician, yes. We have a lot of input that can make impact. But your civil servant there, you are making you to be afraid of us. You come from a political family. If you fail, it will go back to the root of where you come from. Don't allow them. Where you are supposed to frown at them. When you finish, when you achieve what you achieve, embrace the play. They will say, thank you, sir, sorry, sir, please, sir. These 3 key areas, please. Please.
Honorable Minister, you're welcome. We've listened to you. What is first priority is how do we develop steel in this country so that our country can be productive, so that factories can start rising in Nigeria.
The emergency declaration, which the Joint Committee agreed on and declared, was based on the fact that our infrastructure, you see, Nigeria, we have paucity of funds now, and we are yet to develop our infrastructure. And the much that is already done are being tampered with very wrongly. You can imagine if you watch, maybe I don't know what I think it's NTA that showed the issue of removal of our manholes. Each of that manholes, they tell you the price, you wonder, very expensive. The company I chaired are specialized on roads. That's before coming to the Senate. And I know how much we bought each of those manholes then when we placed in where I worked. My company worked in Maitama. I was the chairman of the company. And I wonder what will be the price now. It's not kobo. It's $1 million, that thing you are seeing. And for it to be carelessly or stupidly destroyed, removed, we need to do something very, very urgent, because that's what they are setting here and there are death traps by that single action, removing it. Now, where we are building a substation, the gantries already constructed there in the past for substation, not the present one we are doing. If you see the way such were removed, and those are the iron we are talking about. It's not iron, we are not producing them here. Of course, we are not producing yet, but the little steel factories that are working cannot produce such. They are all imported. And Nigerians are removing them. You understand about the vandalization of our power lines, the collapse of our system, of our power lines here. Why? It's still issue of vandalization. You link again to our transformers here and there all over the Federation being vandalized. You link also to the handrails on the bridges. Even in Abuja here, go and check all the flyovers. They are removing them. Then, for example, recently on the second Niger bridge built, they are removing the expansion joints, the iron there. So, which means it's like a war. We're talking of insecurity. This is another arm of it. It's like a war declared by miscreants all over the Federation. The committee, in its wisdom, understood that the best thing to do is that we have to prevent people from collecting or selling or reselling or recycling what you call scraps. Now, for now, that should be in the hands of the government, to be in the hand of government. And as such, that's the only way we think we can stop this vandalization. Because when you get it, when you pick it out, there's nowhere to sell it. Will you eat it? In so doing, we now came up with this wisdom of declaring emergency in that sector and declaring that the federal government should construct collection centers of scraps, one in each geopolitical zone. The belief is that when government must have done that, they will put people who will handle it or build it, because no, don't wait. They shouldn't say, oh, let's go to PPP, or let's give individuals to build. No, if they can understand the enormous problems being generated, the best bet is for the federal government to rush do this. If you otherwise, after doing it, you can now give it out under the so-called PPP or whatever, people who will manage it. And as such, you cannot go and carry manhole cover and take to them, they will buy. And if you pick it, you can no longer sell it anywhere. And it will be banned throughout the Federation. No other person can collect that. With that, we'll stop this menace, we'll curb it. Then, the government can now bring up the recycling point, either in each of the geopolitical zone, or if it's after collection, the whole thing is evacuated to Ajaokuta. We can no longer allow any private steel company to recycle it, because those ones they are collecting are going somewhere. That was why that day I said I wasn't happy with the publicity given ab initio. When that was discovered, the first thing ought to have been to dispatch security agencies to various points where we have steel factories, no matter how small or how big, and make some swap there. Possibly, they will have caught some of this. And wherever you get any of these products, that place should be closed down or taken over by the federal government. Because whosoever are buying that manhole cover will know that this is from a already executed project. Very important one for that matter. Why will you buy it? All you need to have done was when the idiot brought it, you call for security agents to arrest the person. And that is a trap. Once you do it in your own factory, another person, there's no other place they will go to sell it. But now we cannot tell them to start doing that. If you tell them to do it, what if they don't? Because every person out there is looking for shortest or cheapest way of making billions overnight. So the best bet is, as we did, we'll declare the emergency to stop individuals collecting scraps or going to sell scraps and not the rest of them. To stop every other factory being involved into it. It is only, the scrap will be collected only at those 6 geopolitical points all over the Federation. We believe that the federal government will buy into this 100%. And if they do, they will realize the good work the Senate and House of Reps have done by that singular act of declaring emergency on that aspect of our environment and saying no individual can carry scrap to go and sell, no company again should buy scraps. Then we are now having collection centers. And mark you, in that collection center, now where they will recycle it, they will dissect everything, separate aluminum, separate iron, separate lithium where possible, or every other mineral involved, separate plastics, and not the rest of them. So all those segments are important to the economy, and they will be recycled. So let's make proper use of what we have.
Well, that concludes this episode of the program. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis at Digunloye. See you next time.